When the news dropped, it was hard to believe what UFC CEO Dana White was selling. The Power Slap League. This competitive slapping competition seemed like such a terrible idea, and for one super obvious reason. What is Power Slap? It's a fighting league that has bounced around the broadcasters since 2023, where, according to the official press release, athletes will compete to earn a spot in the cast house, the first Power Slap rankings, in future Power Slap matches, and world recognition. Sure. But before that, if you've never seen slap fighting, it's ridiculous. Spin it however you like, but we are talking about a sport where the sole intention of the game is to hit or get hit in the face. That's it.
You know, these guys that have been doing this for a long time, there actually is technique to it. You know, you can actually roll with the slap. They know how to, defend, brace, whatever you want to call it. There's actually technique to this thing, believe it or not.
If you want to be technical about it, sure, there's technique. There's technique to tying your shoelaces too, but you don't make a sport out of it. And these people won't be able to tie their shoelaces in the future thanks to straight-up head trauma. Not that the Nevada State Athletic Commission cares.
Thanks to them now, there's official weight classes, there's rules, rankings, and extensive medical testing.
Medical testing? For people whose one aim is to get hit really hard in the face? Seriously? The long-term effects of repetitive head trauma in sports have been known for years. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE as we now call it, used to be called dementia pugilistica. Basically, dementia from being punched in the head too much. And it's really bad for you. This is Joe Frazier, heavyweight boxing legend, doing a press conference ahead of his first bout with George Foreman in 1973.
Fighting is a sport, and it's not a politician thing, and it's not a thing to be rapping off and talking about it. First of all, you're gonna have to get out there and prove yourself and do the job real well. I feel like this is gonna be a real good fight, and we don't have to sit here and rap about it and go through a bunch of strange commotion, because George's not that type of guy, and I'm not that type of guy. George's gonna be out there trying to win the title, and I'm gonna be out there trying to hang on to it.
That was Frazier when he was 29. Compare that to this interview in 2009 when he was 65, and note the marked difference in his speech.
I love boxing back in the days of Mr. Lewis' time, Sugar Ray, Rocky Marciano. These guys I used to watch. And I said, on these days, I'm gonna be a champion. Down there, they didn't have the facilities that I needed to get the job done. But then after I got out of school, I schooled up here in the north and moved from New York to Philadelphia, Somerville, Jersey, and then I started out here.
It's not just Frazier. This is Riddick Bowe, 26, and Evander Holyfield, 31, in 1993. And this is them talking ahead of their trilogy 2 years later.
But what I'd say is that, I know what I'm facing. I know I'm facing someone that brings the best out of me. I heard Bo say I bring the best out of him. And there's no doubt in my mind that, I have to be at my very best to beat him. I know that.
I'm taking that to heart. I want to be ready to rumble. And I look forward to having, I don't think I'm going to go to the but if need be, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be prepared to go 12 hard, grueling rounds. I'm looking forward to it, and again, it's an honor for myself to be sitting next to this great champion and things of that nature. And I see you guys on November 4th. Y'all don't want to miss this. It's going to be a rumble, but it won't be in the jungle. Thanks.
Now compare their speech to these interviews from 2019, predicting the outcome of Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 1. Holyfield was 57, Bowe was just 52.
Well, I think when you take care of yourself like Deontay, he's got a heartbeat, a young guy when he's taking care of himself, more so than a person. When you damage yourself, kind of hard to bring the body back.
I think Deontay in 8 rounds. What do you think? How do you see it going?
It could go either way. Anything could happen.
Yeah, well, it can, but for the most part, I think beyond. I don't like that he came in so light, but what can you say?
CTE doesn't seem to affect every fighter, but when it does, it's heartbreaking. And it's indisputably more common in fighters than in people who don't experience constant and repeated head trauma. The long-term effects of being cracked in the face are undeniable. But what's the difference between boxing and slap fighting? Let's let Kamaru Usman, former UFC welterweight champion, explain why Floyd Mayweather was so good.
Well, that's the thing is, there was a time where people started hating Floyd Mayweather because he was so dominant. And Floyd, his defense was so good, and he was just so good at what he did. We can agree on that. He was so good at what he did to where one's like, oh, that's boring. He's not just fighting because people want to see a bar fight. You know, we're risking our lives in this. And we've trained. What's the point of training each and every day and then going there and just slugging around, taking punches? You train to be able to make someone miss, to be able to control them in a certain way. That's what training is for. So you're not in there just taking punishment at will.
Boxing in particular is about hitting. And most importantly for this story, not getting hit. And most of the best boxers in history were masters at not getting hit. Closer to home for Dana White, MMA fighters get hit in the head even less than boxers. They can attack the legs, they can use submissions, and there's no 10 count. If you get rocked hard enough in MMA, you're done, and you don't get another chance to get hit in the head again. And that leads us to slap fighting. Because there's none of that. It's just pure head trauma. How is this a sport?
You know, for this thing to be a real sport, it needs to be regulated by the Athletic Commission. And the most important thing to us with everything is always the health and safety.
Weiss is talking about health and safety, but come on. The aim is to get hit in the face every time. You can't duck or block or roll with it. You can't even shift your shoulder up or it's called a foul. You just bite down on your mouth guard and wear the shot flush in the face. Slap fighting is clearly unhealthy, and there's not much to it in the way of skills or technique, but it has been sanctioned and is regulated by the Nevada State Athletic Commission as a competitive, open-handed striking combat sport. This is insane, but it is happening. And why? The answer is what the answer always is in combat sports: money.
So this all started for me back in 2017. I started seeing some of these slap videos on social media, and I started to do some research on some of the companies and some of the promoters that were involved in it. And you know, I was first of all, I was blown away by the numbers. I mean, some of these have like 300 million views. So I started thinking, you know, obviously this thing really works for social media, but I thought it would be good for television too if done the right way.
Dana White and the UFC have seen an opportunity to make a quick buck by having people annihilate their brains for our entertainment. But if that's what people are willing to watch, and that's what people are willing to do to make a buck, then what more do we expect?
I apologize.
Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.